I would say that Iowa is one of the toughest challengers, not only that we faced this year, but that have faced in so many years, because they can beat you in so many different ways. And you look at the fact of the games that they've had, starting with ours, that have come down to the last possession or the last few seconds of the game. And I think that's what this league does. I think this league puts you in so many situations that you experience so many different things that you learn and you grow from it. And I think I will do the same thing. And we've had some of those same things happen to us this year. And I think that's one reason these guys are champions, is because they've responded to every experience and they've gotten better from it. And I think I was the same way. It is very, very hard. He's a great coach, as good as there is, and a great staff. And they can hurt you so many ways. And what they do is they raise your antenna up on both ends of the court, and it's a mental challenge, because you've really got to be able to get back on them. And at the end of the day, you can't win if you don't rebound. And I'm not even sure what the numbers were close. I mean, they're really, really good. But our guys have they've responded all year, and that's the key. And so I'm not going to do a lot of talking in past tense or future tense. That the game tonight was really a lot like the rest of our season. There was a lot of different things inside of it, but at the end of the day, you've got to put stops together. You've got to make shots, and you've got to be connected. And that's exactly what they were. And we did that against a team that can do the same thing in the case of Iowa. And certainly we'll see much the same thing when we play Maryland on Sunday. As far as winning a championship with this group, I probably don't have I don't have all the words figured out for that yet. I just know it's an absolute honor to be with them every day. And it has been. And I love them as much now as I loved them in the Duke locker room, because I believed in them then. Now we had a lot of room to get better. There's no doubt about that. And we certainly we weren't at that place yet. But the ingredients were there. The ingredients of workers, the ingredients of guys that cared about one another, guys that wanted to improve, guys that were working hard, and it continued to get better and better. And the reason it got better and better is because they treat every day for what it is. And as corny as it sounds, they treat every day as the most important day they have. And they've shown that. Or I don't think we could win a championship with this league without it. They have not overlooked. They haven't stayed behind. They haven't looked ahead. They've been absolutely focused on what they need to do to get better that day. And hopefully we've got a lot more basketball in us, because I'm really enjoying being with them. So, go ahead.
First question. Go ahead.
How sweet is it just to win a title outright on the road, something you guys did 3 years ago?
Well, I think, and they saw some clips of that today in a video, of how we won that game. I think it is because it's the challenge of who you're playing. And, all we've done is play the game that's been on our schedule. Once the non-league games are up, then it's what the Big Ten gives you. And when you play Iowa like this and to beat somebody that we have so much respect for, I have a ton of respect for him on a professional level. I have equally as much respect for him on a personal level, he and his wife and family. And in the case of France, so to win like that, and when you respect, you feel for them too. So I really do. Those players at Iowa have put so much into it, and they've been great models of this league. I'm sure they've been great models of Iowa, but they've been great models for this league and for college basketball in the way that they play. And so to win a game like that against that kind of challenge, that's something that'll be even sweeter, much like it was that year when we beat Michigan when they had so much on the line. So when you're winning a title against a team that's got the same thing at stake, that's a big deal.
Alex?
They got some momentum late in the first half, and then I think second half you guys came out and scored 6 of the first 7 points. How big was it to come out in the second half and I guess kind of take the momentum at that point?
It was really important. I mean, it was going to be a 40-minute game. I mean, that's what you brace for, and all week long was, we just got to win by 1, right? We just got to win by 1, and kept referring to the scoreboard. We were either up or it was tied or we were down 1 or 2. Did we get down 2? Did we get down 3?
2.
2, right? So it was right there, right? And there was what I liked is I think they were looking at me and they didn't see any doubt in me. And I was looking back at them and I didn't see any doubt in them. So it's going to be a game of runs. And as long as you're trying to make your adjustments, as long as you're learning from it, and I think that's key. I mean, it's silly to think they weren't going to go on a run. They're too good, right? And we had a couple things not go our way, and we had a lot of different lineups tonight, more than usual because of the foul situation. So I think the fact that we got our confidence shooting the ball in the first half, 60% really helped us. And in the second half, we knew we were going to have to be even better than what we were in transition. And we weren't going to. I mean, didn't think we might shoot 60% in the second half, but to bring them down even another step was the key to the game.
Zach?
I know that Tom, I know you said you don't want to talk too much about the past or the future, but this is kind of, I guess, 6 years you spent with Yogi. If you go back to when he committed, I know he was
Probably
with
longer
you.
than that, in all honesty. I remember met him as a freshman. Driving him around on a golf cart at Indiana as a freshman.
I know you obviously had him in 2013, but what does this mean for you with him as a senior, and frankly the way he's played in Big Ten?
But what we're going to do this week is, because there's no way you're going to pull the Roy Firestone on me when we get back home, and so I'm not going to start it now, but we'll put out some quotes on it. I don't want to go down that road, but I will say this. What he has done, and said this, I learned this, Matt Nover was actually in our practice yesterday, and came into the film room with us, and I didn't know this till last night. 89-93, right? 89 and 93, Matt Nover was the last Indiana player to play on 2 outright champions.
Yes.
Is that right? Yogi Ferrell's got that now, right? That's a pretty big deal. Here's how I would sum up Yogi. He came in a champion. He helped us win a championship the first year, and so far right now he's got one as a senior. I'd say that's pretty remarkable. A lot of growth in between. All right, a lot of great days, a lot of hard days, but I love him to death, and to be a part of it with him and to watch him grow is fantastic. And I think he's showing that he is not only one of the best defenders in this league, but in the entire country. I mean, Peter Jock was averaging 25 in the previous 4 games. I think it was 20, but he had one span where he was averaging 25 in 3 games, right? And Yogi had the job of him tonight, didn't get a sub in the second half, did the things that he did. He's getting the other team's top guy, or one of the top guys, obviously, when it comes to a guard or wing position, every night. And he answers that bell. And the next thing is going to be, when this season's up, if he's not an NBA guard with a guaranteed draft spot and contract, somewhere, then I'm really losing my feel for what basketball's all about, because I think he's that good. But we've got time to get to that. But it is an absolute honor to work with him every day, because what he does is he brings his experience and his knowledge to his teammates. He makes the game easier for his teammates, and he studies the game at such a high level, and he works with the game at such a high level. It's continuing to get better. I mean, he's a great example.
Tom, you talked about how you talked about how you don't expect one person to fill the role of Rob, but it seems like these last couple games, Nick's really stepped in. How much has he just sort of eased that transition?
Oh, Nick just keeps getting better and better, and there's nobody that I'm more anal about with his shooting, and his footwork and things like that. And look at him tonight, with the moving off the dribble, got some shots in the lane, because he works at it. And so Nick and Max did something, obviously. I mean, he's the only guy that's won 2 Big Ten championships, 2 different schools, right? And that's pretty big too. So those guys have continued to get better, and Nick has done an excellent job. And we had to feel our way out that first half at Illinois without Rob. And hopefully he'll be back soon. I mean, it's an ankle sprain, but we can't rush it. I mean, it's a sprain, so we've got to keep dealing with that. But it's much like what happened when James went out. You take 16 points out of the lineup, doesn't matter what anybody says, that's 16 points. That's a guy that can make shots at a high level and is getting better at every area of the game. So it takes a bit for your team to adjust when a guy is out, and you've got to have more and more guys step up and fill that role. And I think Nick's playing with a ton of confidence. I missed somebody, yeah, go ahead.
You guys continue to overcome adversities all year. You lose James, you keep winning. You lose Robert, you keep winning. You got a battle tonight. What is it about this group that whatever happens, they seem capable of answering the bell?
I think they're resilient. I think there's certain words probably that, there's a dictionary definition, and then you look out at your team and say, okay, that's what that looks like to me. and so they're resilient. And again, I can't say enough how much they put into each day. There's not a look behind, look forward. You know, even when we lost to Penn State, they weren't looking ahead to Iowa. We just didn't play as well, right? And I've never looked at them like they're getting out of the moment that's most important. And I think that's what it is. And I think that manifests itself in the game. And with possessions and multiple stops and understanding when we got to execute. Tonight we did something that we have not done a great job of, and that's where we understood that, you know, one of the last things on the board was we've got to play for 40 minutes through the paint. We can't play 20 minutes through the paint. We've got to play for 40 minutes. We can't play 30 minutes. We've got to play for 40 minutes. And that means that the ball has got to get reversed. It's got to touch the paint, whether it's the post or the drive. It's got to create those situations, closeouts and helps. And when you have a team of guys that can shoot it like we do, then that makes it that much easier and that much better. But I think they get confidence from one another, you know, because of that resiliency, because of the way they're connected on a daily basis.
Zach?
Tom, buckets were hard to get late in the game, and Yogi drained that huge three. Have you ever seen him make a bigger shot? That shot took some.
I'll have to think about that one, but that is a huge shot. Yeah, that put us up 5, right? That was big. Yeah, that was absolutely big. And what I think we'll see when we watch the film is I think he shot it perfect. Right? It was a challenge shot, but he had his footwork was right, his hand was right, and he can score so many different ways. But it all comes down to the fundamentals, you know, those feet and his hands, and like with all of them, right? And you know, a lot of times what happens in shooting is you take a good shot and you make it a bad shot because you take it badly, right? He took that shot, it's a tough shot, and he took it very good, and he didn't take it as a hero shot. He took it as a shot in the flow. And that's such a key. So as far as where it ranks, I don't know yet. Maybe he's got more in him. I know he had some as a freshman, and I don't want to think in that frame yet, but it was huge.
Coach, Coach McCaffrey praised your team for sharing the ball really well tonight. If it was just the starting 5, that might be understandable. But with the foul situation, there were so many different guys playing. Do you think that there's cohesion, like even through the depth of your
I don't think we win a championship without them. Absolutely. I think everybody steps up. I mean, they buy in, and Ryan Burton could have easily been that guy too, you know, and Harrison Nego coming in the way that he's doing. Jawan Morgan has now made a 3, I think, 4 straight games?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and we work on that constantly, right? So they have confidence in each other. I'd like to think I have tremendous confidence in those guys. And if they're in the game, they need to impact the game. And that's the most important thing. And what's happened, especially over the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 weeks, is there's a little more. They will speak up on each other, and not just in the film room. The film room is a place, practice is a place, but the court is a place, and it's good. You know, when you're connected like that, and you care about one another, you take that in a good way. There's not, well, why are you getting on me? You know, when you don't know each other real well, it's real easy to have it be the other way. And we probably went through a little bit of that early in the season, but we just weren't, you know, we weren't experienced enough. We weren't healthy enough with a guy like Thomas, you know, early in the season. We just weren't there yet, but these guys have continued to grow, and I don't think any of them look at our walk-ons or our freshmen any differently than they look at each other. I mean, when it comes to the upperclassmen, they've done a great job of believing in one another.
Tom, any update on Jawan?
No. We've been down that road with him, so I don't know the severity of it. It's not the first time that's happened for him. So he was in a lot of pain. He was in a ton of pain, and so it's a good thing we're not playing tomorrow. But we'll find out. But I don't have any true update other than I've been with him, but I don't have the doctor's update.
Okay. Coach,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you very